Far away, in a forgotten land, there was a village called Oran, a place where the sun hadn't shone for 100 years. Fog, cold, and darkness ruled every corner. People moved like shadows, their faces pale and their spirits low. They had forgotten the warmth of the sun, the vibrant colors of flowers, and the bright blue of the sky. Life was just a long, endless twilight. In this village lived a small girl named Lulu. She was different. While others huddled indoors, she would wander through the misty streets, carrying a small, flickering lantern. Her heart was full of questions and a longing for something she had never known. "Mom," she'd often ask, her voice a hopeful whisper, "is it true? Was the sky really once filled with sunlight? What did it feel like?" Her mother would sigh, a sad smile on her face. "It was like a warm blanket, my love. It made everything alive." But how could that be? Lulu would wonder aloud, looking up at the perpetual gray ceiling of clouds. "I've never seen it." One evening, as Lulu walked along the edge of the village, something caught her eye. It was a single leaf, but it wasn't gray or brown like the others. It was glowing with a gentle, golden light. It drifted down from the sky, spinning slowly, and landed on the path right in front of her. It pulsed with a soft warmth, lighting the path toward the dark, twisted trees of the Whisperwood Forest, an unspoken invitation. Curious and unafraid, Lulu tightened her grip on her lantern and followed the glowing leaf into the unknown. The Whisperwood Forest was even darker than the village. The trees twisted into strange shapes, and the wind carried hushed, eerie whispers that seemed to tell stories of forgotten things. "Hello," Lulu called out, her small voice swallowed by the immense silence. "What is this place?" The glowing leaf continued to lead her deeper, its light a small beacon of courage in the oppressive gloom. It floated ahead, guiding her through thorny bushes and over ancient, mossy roots. Finally, the leaf settled at the entrance to a hidden cave. Lulu hesitated for a moment, then took a deep breath and stepped inside. There, in the center of the cavern, resting on a flat, moss-covered stone, was an egg. It was smooth and white, about the size of her two hands cupped together, but it wasn't an ordinary egg. It was glowing from within, pulsing with a steady, warm light that pushed back the darkness. An egg, glowing in the dark, Lulu whispered in awe. She had never seen anything so beautiful. Drawn by its gentle light, she reached out a tentative hand and touched its smooth surface. The moment her fingers made contact, the egg grew brighter. The ground beneath her began to tremble, and ancient, glowing symbols, like swirling constellations, lit up on the cave floor, encircling her. Then a voice echoed through the cave, ancient and powerful, yet not unkind. "The bearer of light has been chosen." Before Lulu could even process the words, a loud crack echoed through the cavern. The egg shook violently, and a network of bright fissures spread across its shell. With a final, explosive burst of light, the egg cracked open. Huddled inside was not a bird, but a tiny dragon. Its scales were like polished crystals, shimmering with every color of the dawn, and its eyes were like to bright stars. It blinked, adjusting to the world, its body radiating a soft, gentle light. "Oh," Lulu gasped, her heart filled with wonder. "You're beautiful." The little dragon shook its head, scattering tiny sparkles of light, and looked at Lulu with intelligent eyes. "Who are you? Why did you wake me?" Its voice was young, yet carried a hint of ancient wisdom. "I'm Lulu," she replied, her fear melting away. "And you?" "My name is Leon," the dragon said, stretching its delicate, crystalline wings. The last dragon of light, Lulu and Leon sat together in the warmth of the dragon's glow, which felt like a tiny, personal sunrise in the dark cave. Leon explained that he had been sleeping in the egg for 100 years, waiting for someone with a heart pure enough to awaken him. 100 years ago, Leon began, his voice tinged with sadness. This world was not like this. It was bright and full of life, but a dark sorcerer named Morguz, jealous of the sun's power, forged a terrible spell. He stole the sun's core, the very heart of our daylight, and trapped it in his tower of shadows. Since then, the world has forgotten the light. Lulu looked at the gloom outside the cave. Can it be brought back? Can we get the sun's core back? Leon nodded slowly. It is possible, but the core is protected by powerful dark magic. It can only be freed by someone with a pure heart, someone who can touch it without being consumed by its immense power or burned by its raw light. Lulu's eyes lit up with determination. She thought of her village, of the pale faces and the endless cold. She looked at the small, brave dragon beside her. Then we'll do it, she declared, her voice ringing with conviction. We'll do it together. A smile touched Leon's draconic features. He felt the unwavering sincerity in her heart. He raised his head, and from his mouth, he didn't breathe fire, but streams of golden light. The light swirled in the air before them, weaving and twisting, forming a shining, ethereal map that floated in the darkness. It showed a path, a tower, and a single, brilliant star. The journey had begun. Their adventure started the very next day. The glowing map led them out of the Whisperwood Forest and across the Forgotten Lands. They journeyed through murky swamps where gnarled trees clawed at the sky and crossed rushing rivers that flowed with inky black water. They climbed jagged mountains so tall their peaks were lost in the permanent gray clouds. The darkness didn't give up its territory easily. In a shadowy part of the forest, grotesque, chittering creatures made of tangled roots and shadow stuff emerged from the ground, their claws swiping at Lulu, but Leon was ready. He took a deep breath and unleashed a beam of pure, brilliant light that struck the creatures, causing them to hiss and dissolve back into nothingness. Along the way, Leon taught Lulu about the nature of light. Light doesn't just come from the sky, Lulu, he explained as they rested. The truest light comes from within. It is born from kindness, courage, and hope. He showed her how to find small, dull pebbles on the ground, which he called light stones. Hold one, he instructed. And think of something kind you've done. Lulu thought about sharing her bread with a hungry bird that morning. As she did, the stone in her palm began to warm and emit a soft, gentle glow. The more she focused on acts of kindness, helping Leon over a difficult ledge, singing a song to cheer him up, the brighter her collection of stones became. Lulu looked at her glowing stones, then at Leon. Then, from good hearts, we'll build a new sun, she exclaimed, her own heart swelling with purpose. With each step, each act of kindness, and each victory over the shadows, Lulu felt herself growing stronger, brighter. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, they saw it. Looming on the horizon, piercing the gray sky like a black spear, was the Tower of Shadows. It was a monstrous structure of jagged black rock, radiating an aura of cold and despair. Dark clouds swirled around its peak, and crackles of purple energy ran down its sides. At the very top, inside a cage woven from pure darkness, floated a small, fiery orb, the stolen sun's core. Its light was struggling, trying desperately to break free. As they approached, a thunderous, echoing voice boomed from the tower, shaking the very ground. A child and a fading dragon. You dare challenge me, the master of this eternal night. A figure materialized at the top of the tower. Morguz, the sorcerer, wreathed in shadow and malice. Lulu, holding her brightly glowing light stones, stood her ground and shouted back, her voice clear and brave. Darkness never wins forever, Morguz. We've come to bring back the dawn. With a roar of fury, Morguz unleashed his power. Storms of shadow and bolts of dark lightning erupted from the tower, hurtling towards them. Leon met the assault with powerful beams of light, the two forces clashing in a spectacular explosion of light and dark. Lulu, go, Leon shouted. Free the core, I'll hold him off. Lulu didn't hesitate. She raced towards the tower, her light stones illuminating a path up the crumbling staircase. Shadowy tendrils reached for her, but the light from her stones repelled them. She climbed higher and higher, the wind howling around her. Finally, she reached the top. The sun's core pulsed weakly in its shadowy cage. Morgus turned his wrath on her. "You are too late, child. The light is mine." But Lulu held up her stones. "No, the light belongs to everyone." She yelled and threw them at the cage. The stones, filled with all the kindness and courage from her journey, struck the dark bars. Morgus shrieked as the cage of shadows couldn't withstand the purity of the light. It shattered. With a sound like 1,000 bells ringing at once, the Tower of Shadows exploded in a blinding, cleansing flash of golden light. Sunlight, real sunlight, flooded the land for the first time in a century. Back in the village of Oran, the villagers who were huddled in their homes suddenly saw a crack of gold appear under their doors. Hesitantly, they opened them and stepped outside. They looked up, shielding their eyes, as the warm, golden rays of the sun washed over them, chasing away the fog and revealing a sky of brilliant blue. Children who had only ever known gray laughed and pointed. Colors they had only heard of in stories burst forth from flowers, trees, and homes. Lulu's mother stood at her doorway, her face wet with tears of joy, and saw a small figure walking towards the village. "Lulu," she cried, running to embrace her daughter. "You're home. What happened?" Lulu, her face glowing in the new sunlight, hugged her mother tightly. "The darkness is gone, Mom. The light is back." Leon landed gently beside her, his crystal scales shimmering magnificently in the true sunlight. He looked up at the sun, then back at Lulu, a peaceful expression on his face. "My duty is done," he said softly. "The world has its heart back. It is time for the last dragon to sleep." Lulu's smile faded. "Sleep, but ... will I see you again?" she asked, her voice trembling. Leon nuzzled her gently. "Look," he said, pointing his snout towards the sun. "Whenever you look at the sun and feel its warmth on your face, know that a part of me is there. I'll always be with you." With those words, his body began to dissolve, breaking apart into 1,000 points of golden light that danced in the air before drifting up, to merge with the sun itself. And so, Lulu, the girl from the Shadow Village, and Leon, the Dragon of Light, restored life and hope to the world. Their story was told for generations, a reminder that even in the deepest darkness, it is the courage and kindness of even the smallest heart that can shine the brightest. Thank you so much for watching Lulu and Leon's adventure. If you loved their story, please give this video a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more magical stories. See you next time.